Start off with some news on the GFA's 28th Congress, but let me ask how the gentlemen are doing. It's been a good start for the season. What's your position on the league table, the EPL?
Good morning, listeners, and good morning, everyone. As you can see, I am on top. Those down, they have to tell me where they are. I can't see them.
Okay, no, there's no problem about it. Please, what's your position?
Okay. Now we are we are on the second position.
Oh, I see.
They are just taking care of the top position for us.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and very soon we'll take over.
How it amazes me how these teams are also still parading themselves. But it's all right. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We'll talk about it later.
Alpha played with 13 players.
Why? Oh, come on.
Yeah.
You see, you are going to start this. And we'll come back to that. For you people, you always blame referees for this. No problem.
Yes.
No problem. Anyway, let's start off with the GFA's Congress, and there are some things to look out for. One thing that caught my attention is one that has to do with the spending of $100,000 on footballs for the leagues we have. It struck me as though, I don't know what the football is, but hey, I can't question it. I don't even know the amount or the cost of one football. So, but my point is, from what you see and what you've read with even the fallouts from that Congress, is that the answer to our football needs?
There is no answer to one direct format or procedure that you will use to make the league better. I mean, there are diverse ways and diverse opinions. But for me, I mean, this is a Congress that has really been up there as compared to last year. Yes, this year, what we have seen is much better.
In terms of what?
I mean, in terms of improvement across board, but there are certain facilities that will still pull us back. For example, we've had the juvenile football kickstart, and for me, that is the future of Ghana football. Once we get the juvenile football going in, we've got our referees, our coaches, all of them seeing some training, seeing some lights, and to me, it is the right step. Some facilities will now see certain one or two improvements. Now, for the first time, we are going to get a head sponsor coming in. And that's one thing we have all been crying about. The deal with other partners like our sister stations who will be showing the matches is still going on. So despite the things that we had last year, one or two things that have been added on. We never owned Pram Pram. You never owned what was in my hometown. Now you own it. Now you can call it yours. Now you have the right to develop it, to make it look more modern, more usable. You could fetch money out of it. The facility at Bongatanga has also seen some FIFA improvement. So you won't have it as a goal like, look, I'm going to do it. But step by step, you would have it done. And
for me, before I go to Moses, when we had head sponsors in the league, what was the result? Because that is the only way I'd believe that a head sponsor coming in again could bring the same result we had seen in times past.
I mean, in the last few years before the expose, I mean, Great Afro Cash came in, Glow came in, there was another one that also came in, and those ones never ended well. That's the reality. They never ended well. But, I mean, that was before the expose. But after that, we've had 2 successful seasons. And we've got teams in better positions that, even though we couldn't qualify for all major tournaments, but the teams are getting there. The clubs are getting there. So for me, that's where I tend to look and say that, look, I'll give them 75% of the job done. But a lot needs to be done as the season goes on.
I see.
The boots, the footballs, the transportation, the little money you put across, some way or the other, it helps. It might not be the perfect package, but it helps.
The Astro pitch in Bogatanga and the focus on AstroTurfs around town, as much as there are improvements on our harder packs that we used to have, it still questions the standard. whether or not those are what our players will go out there and play on. So in pushing a lot of monies into it and solving the problem halfway is where I am worried. And I don't know where you stand, Moses.
Yeah, with the AstroTurfs, it really helps a lot because as footballists, they make these steps. Is it the standard pitch that they're supposed to do for these young ones or for footballers? Because some of the turfs, if you don't take care, it will rather cause injuries to players. Yes, and then even with the size, okay, with the size of the pitch itself. Yeah. Okay. So I think it is the right step, and then they are to do that at least everywhere in every community. At least there should be one AstroTurf there, helping with what the progress of football. But the way and manner they are to do it, they should give it to the perfect guys who are supposed to do these steps for the footballers to feel comfortable, so that they will to know how to play very well. So that when they go outside, they won't have challenges.
I see.
Yeah.
I think for me,
think differently.
You know, when I look at the AstroTurf across board, I've been to some of them.
Okay.
I mean, the real challenge is the perimeter. Difficult to understand how we got those lands. These are parts that are there, and for some reasons we are using them for AstroTurf.
Yes.
So irrespective of the size, we tend to squeeze to have the parks there. So at the end of the day, you have the park there, but where is the perimeter? People will not get, it can't carry the 10,000, the 20,000 for you. So if a team is to use that as a facility, they are looking for less proceeds as gate fees from it. And we are in a country whereby we struggled to have our games at these centers. I can give you a fact. Go and watch a game at Accra Sports Stadium at 6 p.m. and after that, you have to struggle to get a car home. If you are not careful, you have to take Uber, you have to take a dropping home. Where it is sited, I mean, it's a little bit far from Tema Station, and by that time, 8, 9, you finish post-match analysis, press conferences, you are done. Before you leave stadium around 10 p.m., you go to Tema Station, you won't get a commercial vehicle. You go to Kumasi, it's the same. You go to Cape Coast, it's the same. You go to Tamale, it's the same. So there is a distance from the stadiums to the lorry stations where you can easily get access. And these are the things that some people will think twice and say, look, if I want to go to stadium to go and watch a game, then I know for one, I have to find my way back home. How am I going to get my way back home? And that's why Kurt at a point was telling the clubs that, look, it is their duty to make sure that their stadium is being filled. Once it's being filled to capacity, then they can move on with that. If not, there'll be huge problems coming in day in and day out. At a point in the season, Kumasi was leading last season, but they were not filling their match venues. Kumasi Sports Stadium was not getting full, despite you being on top of the league. So it's something that it still comes back to us. So when you even move away from the bigger stadiums and it comes to these AstroTurfs, which have no perimeters, smaller perimeters for even people to sit, then the question is, am I going to use that as a training environment, or I'm going to use that to have a match on? If it's going to be a match on, then there are going to be series of problems for me.
So, I mean, it opens us up to why we have to settle for this, and that's where I am lost in all of these.
Okay, for me, this is it. The parks are there. I mean, they might not be standard. The grounds may not be fully secured. But if we don't do something now, there's a possibility that somebody else could take over the lands. Somebody else could encroach on these lands. What is happening at Botema? Once the land is there and you don't utilize it, it will be used for other purposes. So I feel like, look, there's a need for us to quickly go in and have those things in so that we can easily get it running.
The issue also, let me still stay with you, Marty. The issue has to also do with, I mean, I was struck when I saw that we invested $100,000. We invested $100,000 for the purchase of footballs for the regional football associations, Premier League clubs, DOL clubs and the Women's League clubs last year. $100,000 US.
Yes, you would question the pricing, but it's all about.
Do I have to go and look out for how much a football costs?
There are variations of the football.
Mm.
There are variations of the.
Mm.
I mean, you remember the famous World Cup where we had the Javelani?
Mm-hmm.
It depends on how you kick the ball, how you position the ball, and how you kick it, and the win factor. So there are 30 things that will come in. Yes, we might question the money, but we have a lot of clubs. Some aspect has to be given to the clubs. Some has been to be used on match days. You've got 18 Premier League clubs. You've got 48 Division 1. You go to Division 2, Division 3. Then you've got the Women's League. So if we are spreading 20 to 50 balls across each club, then it's quite costly. But at the end of the day, what we needed to play on the pitch was available. We don't worry much about the ball goes to the stands and we cry. Unlike England, those days they have one match ball and two other ones that were waiting for the main match ball to go off. This season they've introduced 10 match balls in a game. So if you watch the English Premier League, a certain vantage point behind the goal post on the sidelines of the throw lines, you have a lot of balls there. So for us, we have the ball to play. And for once these balls were in, I remember last 2 seasons before we kickstart, the balls were not in early. So the teams have to struggle.
I see.